Gonna do a little late night streaming. Not too long, because I have work tomorrow. But I'm working on this piece for most of the time I've been drawing today. And so I wanted to just kind of, hey, I'm Watcher DM, hanging out for a little bit, see if anybody comes online and wants to have a chat while I do some drawing. Might do a little bit of. There were some pretty decent questions on the Facebook today. I remember coming up with an answer to one of them that I thought was worth sharing. So I will. All right. So Shyler Blanton, I believe is the name, shared his first post 3 hours ago. Thank you very much for sharing, Shyler, sorry. So I'm writing a homebrew campaign, I think, for what will be my first time DMing. I want to make an encounter that no matter what the player does, it forces them to be captured. The idea is that the other players or player will have to help them, and I'm not sure of a good way to do this other than making it impossible for the players to roll or fight their way out and make them surrender. If y'all can think of a better way that isn't going to make a player feel forced, well, a player's going to feel forced. That's what you're doing. Y'all can think of a better way that isn't going to make a player feel forced to play a certain way, that'd be awesome. If not, I'll think of a different encounter. I was just trying to get something other than a fight to help the players interact. So, Shyler, I want to tell you about. So I did have an encounter. I had a game session recently that ended in the characters being captured, and that led to an adventure in the castle of their captor, right? Like where they had to escape, and it was actually really cool. I think I know what you're going for. You're going for the jail montage, right? You meet your other adventurers in a constrained condition, and so the thing you're trying to get to happen is for them to do a little role playing, a little interaction, maybe find out like what happened, why they're in there, how they feel about how they got there, stuff like that, and then also probably hatch a plan for escape. I imagine. When I did this, it went extremely well. I have some very skilled players at my table, and so, but even then, I think I was pretty clear when it was going down. I kind of told them. Somebody say jail montage. Yeah, I'm talking about your jail montage. That's true. Um, yeah, there's a question online. Somebody wants to have their characters captured, and I was like, yeah, I've done this. But I could be wrong about this. You might actually be able to verify. I'm pretty sure when I was capturing y'all, I kind of said I was like, look, if you guys are not okay with being captured, we can back out of this. We can have this end another way. But if you guys are cool with going forward with the betrayal that has happened, um, then it's an interesting story point. And with that kind of metagame statement out of the way, if I remember correctly, and it might not, um, we just kind of went with it, and everybody was cool with it. And actually, one of the player characters ended up dying. They sacrificed themselves uh, to kind of prevent it, but in a very storied way, and I thought it was pretty cool. In fact, that came up during the jail montage. Um, it was a really interesting moment where it was like, okay, you both have been here for a week now in separate cells. You haven't been able to see each other. Um, what are each of you talking about? How are you interacting with each other? And I think one of them was, cussing up a storm about how they're going to get revenge on that traitor who turned him in. And the other one was just kind of silently contemplating, the fact that Brass had died. Somebody that they were familiar with and friends with had died right in front of them, like and kind of due to the their importance that he went down. And as soon as that was brought up, I was like, oh, which one of you is the first one to bring up Brass dying? And it was a really cool role play session. It was just a ton of fun being in that very constrained space, with the opportunity to do some role playing around what had happened, do some role playing around because there was a new introduction. There's another player in another cell, and then hatch a plan and do the montage for like hatching the plan and getting out. And oh, what spells do you have? What spells do you have memorized? How do you keep your memorized spells going? Like, it was some really cool questions, really cool role play. And like I said, I was very lucky to have very talented and practiced players who went with my crazy dumb bullshit. But I think they all had a good time, and I know I had a good time. It's one of my. All right, Chelsea, tell me, what do you think? What do you think of the? Not good, right? Getting there, but it's not there. I know it's not there. I need to finish the background. I think if I work on the background a bit, it'll get closer. I also think this is just too much like, I'm a big blob of purple, and what are you, fucking Barney? Especially since like there's just this one little splash of red on the forehead that actually I wanted to come back on this anyway. Get something in the super high register. Just ever so gently. I like the fabric. I like where it's going. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I think the like honestly I was spending a lot of time like working up the face. I know it doesn't look like it. Um, it looks like a little. I don't know what I've done here. That's good. It's not. There's some really bad stuff going on in the face, and I'm not sure what it is yet. I haven't nailed that down yet. Feel like the shadows need to be like deeper, like here. Like it always feels like the shadows that are closest to the light appear the darkest. I know that's just like kind of a trick of the light, if you will. But I don't know. That's actually good. Oh, the glow hands are a cool effect. Yeah. Yeah, the glow hand is a cool effect. That's, yeah, I am not going to lie. It's super cheesy how it works. It's like so easy to do. The hand was tricky and still doesn't look quite right. Actually, I need to kind of get in here and do some cleanup from the last couple of attempted edits. This all like see how I'm ending up with all kinds of weird. Ugh. So I'll probably just go to airbrush. I like the idea that there's like a bubble of light around it. That kind of works. Bit. Little bits. But you know what? You know what's really bothering me about this? I've been trying to pin down like what is annoying about this picture for a while now, and I think this whole shoulder piece is actually fundamentally the problem. It looks like it's in the wrong perspective. Um, and as much as I like the fabric, I think the fabric is too constant, like it's boring, right? It's just the, like, even if I threw another tone of like blue in here, it would be an improvement. Try some of that. I did do I did a really fun thing on this that I haven't done a lot of. I had a really good time doing it. Is this buckle? Buckles and like little mechanical bits and stuff are fucking super hard to draw. Like for me anyway, I have a hell of a time with it. Um, so maybe punch this up just a bit in size so it's a little bit softer. Yeah. So I guess my answer to you, Shyler, is be careful when you're taking away your player's agency with characters. Any way you're going to do it, if you plan on doing it and you want to try it, I would advise co-opting your players on it. Just saying straight up, like, "Hey, I want to try and do this. Are you guys cool with us moving in that direction?" Uh, if you are, then the fact that this fight feels unwinnable is intentional. Like you are not intended to succeed, but they will take you alive. Is kind of the case I would make, and you might even want to make the sales pitch for that cool montage. My personal favorite is the Count of Monte Cristo jail scene montage, which is amazing, and definitely was the inspiration for me. All right. Boop, boop, boop. There was one I answered earlier. In fact, I'm just gonna go look up my profile because it was such a good question, and I suddenly got hella inspired with this like super, I think really good answer. Um, and I actually owe the inspiration for the answer to my writer Austin, whom I imagine is listening right now. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Where the fuck is my activity feed? Activity log. Here we go. Here we go. Yes. So, question. My players are playing Pathfinder 2. My players are playing Pathfinder 2. Every time they kill a major baddie, I've been giving them a scroll of wish. They have not one time questioned why these seem to be so common. I have been trying to think of a creative way to end my campaign by punishing them for using all these wish spells. Any thoughts? Edit. Punish was a poor choice of words. My intention is not to punish the players, ruin their journey, and make them make their time feel wasted. I am asking for ideas for a big bad or cataclysmic event that they can overcome, caused by the use of all the wish spells. Which that first part wasn't in the original question, so I answered the original question. The wish spells have put them in an alternate dimension, and the party from the primary timeline comes to stop them from ripping the multiverse apart, armed with all the wish scrolls they didn't use. I thought that was clever. People around them begin to dematerialize as the weave breaks apart under the strain of so much magic. Bizarre occurrences, whales falling from the heavens, plants talking, moving, and taking up unique hobbies like fates and dice. The atmosphere begins to dissipate, and high altitudes are no longer accessible without breathing apparatus, killing millions. The oceans become acidic, killing millions more. The party now has to figure out how to undo the damage they've done. It's like wish spells just cause climate change. Boom. First try. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if it's a bad idea. I just thought it was an idea. It wasn't terrible. I'm just gonna save this. I think I need to look at it. Actually, you know what? You know what I probably should do here? Flip it. See if I can see what's wrong with it. Swear to God, there's something off about the face. This hand right here looks absolutely awesome. I'm so stoked on that hand. I think it might be the best hand I've ever done. Maybe I should work on this top of the thing here with some more defined brushwork. That'd be pretty cool. Like this cool dragon-headed staff here. Up with all of my own. Look, nobody's ever had a dragon staff before. Good. No people have. Oh, I guess, God, I don't know. Is that even... Get rid of that. Do it up here. Alright. Loop-de-loops. Derby-derbs. Anyway, if you're still hanging out, you should tell me how your day was. I'd love to hear your day. If you don't want to tell me how your day was, I hope your day was good. Basically all I have to say about it. I'll go back to groups. Okay, this one looks interesting. We'll read this one. Got a cool picture too. I've got a fatty black dragon on it. So, I had these new players. Dad, my day was alright. Trying to finish Divisible Man. I like the sound of that. Yeah, this is for that blog post with Gabe Hadley. I'm doing an image for that. I think, not sure if I made any progress on the cultists. I don't think I did. I think I just pulled it all into a single image over here. So I still need to like color this and stuff for that. Also, I need to probably come up with some of the art that I want to do for the... I know we have the image briefs for Divisible Man, but I probably should start working on some of that art. I remember. The blog post, good question, is I'll pull it up. I'll read it on stream because what else am I doing? User registration, more modules, more modules. Also, we sold some modules on the drive-through RPG. Not a ton of them, but more than zero. Felt pretty good. Also, the ad for Doom Desert goes out tomorrow morning on DM Dave's mailing list and Facebook and Instagram. So fingers crossed we get some Roll20 movement. I know, exclamations. Exclaim, I say. I exclaim it. So many things. Hold on. My eyes are fucking burning. Need to smoke more weed. Just kidding. I don't condone the smoking of weed because I'm on the internet in a place where that would be against the terms of service or whatever. So the cost of magic, world-shaping power at dollar store prices. I actually changed the title to like narrative cost of magic in 5th edition or something like that. But creating narrative cost, something like that. But I want to talk to you about magic. Make no mistake, magic is rad. Commanding a thunderstorm, reversing the flow of time, teleporting across the continent in the blink of an eye. I love it. Magic is a lot of what makes fantasy, well, fantastical. But there is a fundamental problem with magic in Dungeons & Dragons and any other RPG system where magic is prevalent. Meaningless cost. When I say problem, I meant storytelling opportunity. I'm going to tell you how to make magic matter, whether you're the madman hurling a fireball into the small room or the game master looking sadly at your monster's hit points when said fireball goes off. We're going to look at ways to increase the narrative cost of slinging spells in order to tell more compelling, character-driven stories. Raising stakes by having a stake in it. What does magic mean for your character, for your world? What is it like to bend or even break reality? Every conjured illusion, every molding of Earth should feel important and impactful. All too often, however, D&D and systems like it turn the magical into the mundane. Your lightning bolt is just another weapon, your ethereal hand just another tool. But, Gabriel, you so intelligently interject, D&D places restrictions on magic use. Spellcasters only know so many spells, can only cast so many spells per day, and powerful magics require expensive material components. Those are all limitations, sure, but only in gameplay mechanics. I want your spellcasting to be special in the narrative. So, how do we convey that your magic is extraordinary in this story? I'll let you in on a little writer's secret. The easiest way to show meaning is for actions to have emotional cost. Let's use the Blaster Caster Classic of Fireball as an example. For the rules of D&D 5th edition, you wave your hands around and say something vaguely arcane, then you chuck a ball of batshit and sulfur at your problem, and it explodes in a 20-foot radius for a bunch of fire damage. Gameplay-wise, you have successfully damaged everything in a relatively large area. But what have you done story-wise? What if my blog post is being read and this is Divinus? I'm glad you made it. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Yes, I'm almost there. What if every time you made that big boom, you had to give a piece of your mind to the consuming flame? What if every time you cast Fireball, you burned away a childhood memory? Now that Fireball has meaning because you had to sacrifice a part of yourself to do it. Every time a group of baddies ambushes you with murder in their eyes, you'll have to decide if they're worth your last memory of your kid brother. And just like that, we have emotional, character-driven actions moving the story. I think that's fucking dope, by the way. That's like crazy ass. Balancing your arcane checkbook. Perhaps the Fireball example is too much for your table. There is a fine line between giving an action a meaningful cost and making that action functionally unusable in all but the most dire circumstance or situation. If you're a GM, talk to your players about what matters to their characters and what costs they'd be willing to pay to make their magic more storied. If you're a player, this is a good opportunity to figure out what's important to your character and what part of that you'd be willing to give up on a semi-regular basis. The balance between sacrifice and playability, between cost and fun, will be different from campaign to campaign and from character to character. Figuring out that balance is a conversation, not a hard and fast rule. The main goal of all this is to tell better stories, not to rob your characters of what makes them unique. Fiddling with the cost of magic is one of many shortcuts to a more interesting and engaging narrative, but like any tool, it can ruin your fun if overused. Don't panic. Half the fun of this method is in figuring out how far your character is willing to go, and fine-tuning from session to session is not only perfectly normal, but also keeps you engaged with your character in ways you didn't expect. Please, sir, I want some more examples. I fucking adore. Thank you very much for that title. Fear not, dear reader. I have more enticing examples to get your creative gears turning. Gears a-turning. Warlocks in D&D have a built-in cost to their magic. They're dark packed with some flavor of eldritch entity, and so we can just amplify what's already there. Every use of magic could bring that entity closer to the real world, accelerating an inevitable conflict between its unfathomable schemes and the party's goals. With the Warlock caught between their patrons and their friends, I've seen so many, countless variations of the Warlock has to choose a side stories that I'm starting to think that this story beat is the point of playing a Warlock. Option number 2, losing your humanity, or elfinity, or orcishness, is a tried and true classic. It can get a bit tropey and cliche, but what does it mean to be human is ultimately an endless trove of interesting stories. If using magic chips away at your personality, then you are writing a compelling character arc every time you wave your sparkly fingers around. Big Ship of Theseus, much search for identity. I don't know if I said that right, but I like it. Your magic could cause your physical body to weaken or change. This one is tailor-made for D&D sorcerers whose source of magic is their own arcane bloodline. Scorched skin or fire spells, rotting features for necrotic. As graphic or as vague as you and your table can stand, illusion spells could make you slowly more transparent. Transfiguration spells could cause your fingers to turn to stone or water, and on and on. You could have a little body horror with your magic as a treat, which I also adore. What if you didn't pay the price for your magic, but someone else did? The idea is ripped straight from the pages of Doctor Strange comics, the Last Days of Magic storyline, if I remember correctly. Every time you teleport yourself to safety, some random person catches a cold. Or maybe not a random person, but another member of the party loses a year off their life when you animate a suit of armor. This is another deep well of emotional storytelling and is extra spicy for the heroic self-sacrificing types like clerics and paladins, as it puts their morals in direct conflict with their action. That's the blog post. What do you think? And keep in mind the author is in the chat, so be honest, but be nice. I love it, by the way. So I have zero doubt that you will say good things about it. But if you do have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Yeah. Cool. Dubtac, while you're here, this is the piece I'm working on for this blog post. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's coming along. Yeah, the memory cost bit would be super cool. Another thing I was thinking is with the arcane, with the sorcerers, you could like actually quantify, right? Say like, you like the teethies in the dragon set. I like the teethies. I just added those. This is like my most recent addition. I really need to decorate up this whole cloak robe thing. It feels super washed. But we'll get to that. I like the hand. My favorite part is this right here. This hand looks like a hand, which I cannot tell you how fucking hard that is to do. It's so hard. It's kind of stupid how hard that is to get right. What if, like, your caster... So, in the case of sorcerers, they have a, like some arcane bloodline or whatever. What if that was, like, a limited amount? What if, like, literally you were like, you can cast as many, or, well, I guess not, yeah. You can only cast 50 spells your entire life. That's how many you get before you have wasted the last magic in your lineage, right? And then you kind of get a lever, right? You can say, okay, you're starting to run low on like total lifetime spells here. You want to try and figure out how to get more magic, how to infuse yourself with more magic. And you can imagine now how like their ancestor got, how they got their magic and how they passed it through the bloodline. And now you get a whole storyline where they're kind of reliving their ancestors' footsteps and trying to figure out how they got this into their bloodline in the first place so they can reignite the magic before it, wicks out of them. I thought that'd be pretty cool. You could also do something with basically the same thing with a warlock. Like, what if your patron is not like a person per se, but like You find a magic stone. It gives you magical powers, but every time you use it, it gets a little bit dimmer, right? So you kind of have the same kind of mechanism where you can say, yeah, you can cast 20 spells with it. And then it goes cold, and you have to try and find another rock. Like, I think that'd be a very interesting way to approach kind of the caster storytelling. That's some of that stuff's usually missing, right? Like, um, one thing I never see DMs do, and I personally like never do, is go like, oh yeah, that spell that you want, yeah, you don't know anybody who knows it. Like you have to go find it. You have to go figure it out. You know, either find the last person who knew it and try and get them to tell you, or whatever. And yeah, like that kind of go find a spell book so that you can learn your next set of spells. I think that's interesting. Interesting adventure fodder, a little bit at least. So yeah, I think ultimately what I need to do with this this side here is like go up this way more and like cut it off here so that it looks like this like lip here makes more sense, and then smooth that out. Exactly what we're gonna try. We're gonna try and do it live. I'm just gonna try and hack it in right now. I think that gives us a little bit better context for like the back side of this shoulder here. Gives us some interesting shadows and shapes there. And here, okay, that's that. This comes over here, comes down this way. This, boom. Get rid of that. I would have never been able to do this before. This is so mind blowing to me. Like I did the fucking this little lock like buckle thing earlier, and I was like, holy crap, I can actually do that. Like I've seen artists do it online before, and I've always been like, wow, that looks so cool, and they make it look so easy. I've always just been under the impression that it was like basically impossible. I was wrong, which is nice. Nice to be wrong sometimes. I think, like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think this kind of suffers from this. Maybe not. Maybe fold here goes up to here. There. I don't know. I don't hate it. Don't hate it. Not super in love with it. Definitely don't hate it. How was your day today, Gabriel? Do you have a good one? You guys get to see me do another one. Another buckle here. And this side. Here and here. Okay. This down. I'm gonna have a little bit more definition. Belt. Place it properly. Largely due to my positive. Well, what can I say? You write good stuff. Of course, I'm going to appreciate it. thank you so much for writing. I think I told you actually. You were probably one of the first people to know about this crazy make a D&D module plan. You were definitely one of the first people I talked with about it, and holy shit, how naive I was back then. I was like, oh, we could definitely crank out a bunch of modules. They're easy. This is not a problem. And holy crap, was I wrong? Oh, thanks, Matt.
That's the close-up. Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm just So you gotta get into every single little bit and poke at it and work at it.
Except for
Oh, thanks. Um, but anyway, so yeah, so I was that was my naive thoughts on the subject when I first started, and when you gave me the module for Vic. You like the buttons? Yeah. I was like, I want buttons. I'm doing buttons. I've never done buttons before. So I sat around and fucked around with buttons for a minute. And I like how this one doesn't have the shinies that these ones have because it's not in the light, because it's behind the shadow from the. Anyway, so you sent me that, and I was like, wow, this is obviously harder than I had imagined it was, right? Because like that module had all kinds of cool stuff in it, and yet it wasn't complete. It hadn't quite nailed everything down. I was like, wow, this is like a lot of branching path stuff, kind of hard to think about. So I went and I took the adventure writing course from DM Dave. By the way, shout out to David Hamrick from DM Dave, who is a really swell guy, a really nice guy, a super prolific content creator online. And thanks, dude, so much for extending the opportunity for a bunch of us to learn from you what you do. But I took that class, and it was it was not a mind blowing class. Like it was very much like read the fucking Dungeon Master's Guide. There are very clear instructions laid out for you in there on how to develop a module, and he's not wrong. Like it's absolutely all right there. But I took the class. I like did the thing, where I like I submitted what I had written, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna, this is no problem. This is fine. And I submitted what I had written. And I challenged myself a little bit because I was like, I don't really want to be one of DM Dave's writers. Like, not to say that I don't want to write a module for him, but like, I know what he's going for, and I don't think that I want to end up there. I definitely want to deliver something a little bit different. Um, and intentionally so, right? Like, I think there's obviously a market for his product, and he has that market. And I don't think I could compete with it, right? Like he delivers content so fast and so frequently of such consistent quality. It's not reasonable to say, oh yeah, I'm just going to start a new business and compete with you directly. That's not practical. Um, so, but I took like what I had written in a class and was like, okay, I'm gonna deliver this, and that was the Desecration at Silverfire Abbey. So if you read Desecration at Silverfire Abbey, what you're reading is my submission to the DM at the end of the DM Dave course, and it shows, right? It's got a little bit of promise. It's slightly interesting. There's I think probably 2 or 3 things in there that I was like felt really clever about, and they're not even really that clever. They're pretty mundane, but I submitted that. I got really good feedback on it. They were like, "Yeah, this shows promise." Obviously, there's stuff that's just wrong or missing. Cause like at the time, I had not. It turns out writing Dungeons and Dragons modules for a professional job is mostly like knowing how to do like skill checks exactly consistently the same every time you write them, which turns out is like way fucking harder than it sounds. It seems like it would be kind of trivial. Um, but anyway, So it was very shortly after that when I was working on, I was trying to get my next module like written, and I had putzed around on it for a couple of weeks. I still have it actually, and I have not released it. So at some point, I'm going to release all of the modules that I've written. But it's not very good, and it shows. And it was right about that time when I was like, okay, this has all been extremely fun, but I'm not a writer. Like, I've never been a writer. Like, I can write kinda, but I've never put myself to the exercise of writing at the level where, like, I've obviously put some time into learning how to draw, right? Like, this didn't happen overnight. I've been working on this skill for decades now. Whereas writing, while I've been playing lots of Dungeons and Dragons and coming up with lots of cool ideas for decades, the actual act of writing them down and then more so having that content read by other people and like thought about and observed and worked against or even edited, like having somebody be like, no, this is passive voice, you fucked off here, your grammar is wrong, like that shit. I had no depth for it, so yeah, I was just like, okay, the only way that I really stand a chance of doing this, if I want to be in content creation, is to hire writers who are, better than me. And, you know, while that's not a very high bar, I have lucked out extremely in that I have found among my friends some super talented, pretty prolific, most importantly, honestly, reliable writers who, love doing it. They seem to like doing it, and they want to get paid for that, and I happen to be in a position to make that happen too. So yeah, it's been a real fucking treat. Because I'll tell you, if it was just me making these things, they'd be garbage. It'd be so much worse. Um, and I don't know that I would have spent what I've spent on art for the kind of stuff I would be writing, right? Like Doom Desert needed the art that it got. It absolutely needed it. Um, it was too beautiful a work of poetry to cheapen with some, existing artwork of a harpy or, there's just like there's so many things in it that don't have any representation at all in fantasy or in art, like by and large. Um, and that speaks to the quality of the text, which is awesome. And that's kind of been the way it's been with all the content that we've produced so far. Is each piece just comes out feeling like shinier and shinier. People get more and more excited about the work that they're doing and stuff that they're writing and the stories that we're telling. All right, let's see. Um, this. I think part of what feels weird about this painting is she doesn't have ears. You can't see them. Like if we put like ears back here, it would look less weird, but the ears would have to be like up her eyes, like yeah. Maybe I can put them like back there like that. Make it. Anyway. Um and then yeah, this down here, it's like she has no neck, right? But that's kind of right. Like, it's actually the right proportions. It just looks weird. Maybe the shape of the hood is too much, maybe. You can jut it out over here. That might actually be it. I think that might be it. It might just be that I've got too much jutting on my left side. Let's try thinning it out a bit. Wait. God. Crazy is it that you can just do that. That would have terrified me. That move, just going like, oh, I'm just gonna whack this off over here. That would have fucking terrified me like a week ago. Here, down a bit. Take this a little bit. Some more punch there. All right. A little bit more. Actually, I kind of want to do one. Okay, right. This is in the shadow of this. That's why I didn't do light there. Then I feel like this wouldn't have very much light either. Like this would be shadow as well. Oh, light, man. Light and shadow's tough. Tough cookies. And then I'm wondering, I think, you know, think about maybe doing like, gold trim is so fucking passe. Maybe something in a dust rose. Dusty rose. Dusty rose, dusty rose, take me back. Sell my clothes. West Virginia. Mama. Dusty rose on my clothes. Now, trying to get this free. Yeah, see, this is going to look way more interesting. God, why is it always the cheap things you do that pay the most? What do you think? That adds a lot of, I think that adds a lot of visual interest to the piece. Accents make the room, as it were. God damn. I hang out with fucking writers, and you guys say the coolest shit. I swear to God, every time I'm like articulating an idea, and I am one to usually crystallize. I like a fine crystallized nugget of fucking good old wisdom. And I swear to God, between you and Austin, Gabe, I always find that you have a slightly more efficient, slightly more effective, slightly more poetic way of expressing things. It's such a delight. Right. And I think the warm, cool contrast really pays off a lot too. Feels very natural to have that delineation there. A little tab of boop. I'm gonna do a little set dressing on that, just so it looks kind of not just colored over blue stuff. A separate cloth. Do you remember Frank Lloyd Wright? Um, yeah, drawing's weird. I've always ever since I was a kid, I've always had like a pretty decent talent. Not personally, but art's weird. It's like this probably goes for writing too. Um, you can be talented and still, if you don't practice, you will not become skilled. Talent doesn't mean shit. Like at the end of the day, if you can't figure out how the lessons work and understand what's going on, like this face here that I'm still struggling with. I do not. I feel like honestly the problem with the face is it feels muddied. It feels like there's like zero contrast in it. It's all become like one color, which at least I know how to identify that now. You know, um, but I would not have known how to identify that like without having watched a gob of fucking internet. Like I've been watching YouTube upon YouTube upon YouTube to try and get this, kind of learn how the fuck this shit works. Like, there's your light source, and the more this looks legit, the more it kind of shines on the spots where it should, and you get this really bright. Like that's when things start to look right, real. No, look good. Like that contrast there. And these colors are like so far from what you would consider like a flesh tone color. There's like fucking greens in here, and there's blues and yellows and all kinds of shit. And if I don't do this properly, it will end up fucking muddied again. Big drunk birds, what are these? Not how that works at all. Dum 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 dum. At most, get a little bit of uplighting. This part of the lip. This part is shadowed by this part. This part shadows this part. Lips always have some. Oh. Oh. Be cool, baby. Be cool. Say you wish to be cool. Honey bunny, be cool, baby. Be cool. All right, I'm gonna fucking stop working on this part for a second. I wanna scroll back, and you may have noticed in this piece, unlike basically every other fucking caricature drawing I've ever done in my life, there's like a background thing going on. A couple of things going on. Where the? Oh shit! Did I draw on this? Oh. But so what I was thinking here is I would do some try and paint some scenery stuff. So I've got some nice big blocks of color. Have to be great because there's going to be a character in front of it, and we already know where that is. I think this has some kind of structures in it. So I was going to maybe try and paint on top of this with some of these structures. So, the way that this kind of looked in my head was we had like this really kind of bright scenic light kind of bursting in from here, kind of glowing up things. And so like the top of this stone would have like a solid. I don't know that I actually. Yeah, I don't really need that layer anymore. Sorry, baby, sorry. So yeah, you can kind of see how like, okay, so now we got this like cool kind of firm light across the top of this stone here. And then green, so green counters with, the opposite of green is purple. So if I want to change something's, so like I guess here, if I'm in, this is something I learned today, by the way, I'm sharing because I thought it was interesting. So if I'm in a green register, right, and I want to shade something, green technically isn't like cool or warm per se, but this is a fairly yellow green. So if I want it to be cooler, I would move it this way and maybe go down a little bit. And then this color here will actually give me the kind of depth that I'm looking for with this little stone boop here. I actually even use it for like outlining. Because they're just adjacent enough, but I've moved the hue register just a little bit closer to the blue side. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's a neat kind of trick. And some shaping in here. Get away with some crazy shenanigan bullshit. Try something forward first. That in. And then I say, okay, now I want to, go even darker. So we're going to go even further into that. Just kind of eat it. Just eat it, eat it. Dum. How come you always such a fussy young man? Don't want no Captain Crunch, don't want no Raisin Bran. And don't you know that other kids are starving in Japan? Just eat. Woo! Yeah, that's the other thing about like stone is you gotta kind of hitting is important. So that's okay. So that's interesting little stone piece there. Cool, whatever. Not the biz, not the hype. I think the hype, magic hype of this is going to be over on this side here. So we've kind of okay. So I'm just going to start with like okay, I've got this color, and I'm going to scale up into this zone. I'm going to go more into the warm colors because I want this part of the face to kind of down. So I'm going to get my little guide here. It's just because I kind of want to know where I had these shapes lined up, but we're actually just draw kind of over them. Remove the poly tweaking with the that's some good shit. Ooh-wee. Actually, this looks fucking terrible, and I shouldn't have done that. Hard, hard, hard. All right. Punch this up so we've got nice, consistent, blocky shapes. It doesn't really matter at this point, like how accurate the shapes are, like in terms of actual geometry. Most of what matters in this particular case is actually just getting the block of color down in something that kind of reads as a cool shape. The right shape. Finding that right shape should be coming from the process. Okay, so that's interesting. Oops. Daisy. This. About that anymore. Back into this. Again, a yellow green. So we're going to go deeper into the greens to go down this register. So a cooler green for this shadow. Then we can no. Little leaves. They look kind of cute. Weird, but what can I say, man? Wizards are fucking weird. Some of them got to be into gardening. There are some who believe that growing plants is like the first magic that man, well, among the first magics that man mastered. All right. I have bored you all to tears with my drawing stuff. We'll do another question because that at least sounds interesting to me. Oh God, I didn't even do the one question because I think Gabe showed up. So I had these new players, and they're all going to stay. Wait, and they're doing all they can to stay as uninvested as possible in the faction game. They refuse to engage with anything that might mark them as an enemy of a faction of one faction or another, even if said faction is clearly evil, Black Dragon, and its followers. I mean, they're going around kidnapping villagers and torching towns. My party just said, better not get involved. This seems dangerous. It's actually a very practical approach to dealing with dragon bullshit. I think my party is actually true neutral. Have this ever happened to you? This have happened to me. And yeah, it is one of those times when you have to have a really clear conversation with your party about what they came for, what kind of game they want to play, and what what you're delivering, and how they want it delivered. Right? It might be the faction notion. It might be the notion that this is not just a black dragon; it's a whole bunch of things. Gabe Hadley. You didn't have to buy. You had to buy stuff off the. Oh, you bought the Doom Desert. I love you very much. Thank you very much for buying it off of our website. That's a really big deal. I would be happy to provide you free copies of any of the content that we've created. Cool. That is the right answer. That I get behind 100%. Although maybe I should make it clear that you support Austin by running it. So Austin's interest in this, and Austin's getting paid and gets paid a rev share in the same way that you do. But Austin has regularly kind of bugged me about hey, how many people are running this, looking at this stuff, because Austin's interest is kind of getting his content out there and getting it seen. So and I agree. Same, basically same hat. If I was doing this for the money, I must be an idiot. But yeah, that's very, very cool. Thank you very much. And yeah, the hope and dream is someday we these little revenue channels that I've set up catch enough revenue for us to basically to pay for the next module, right? And yeah, you know what? Or another thing, Gabe, worth mentioning is a lot of Austin's modules have this, but they have tremendously good tables in them and really good kind of modular ideas. So even if you don't run Doom Desert verbatim, pluck ideas from it and try them out with players. They're really fun. I mean, obviously run the whole thing if you want to run the whole thing. I think that's a great option, and it's a super fun game to run. I can even give you the access to the Roll20 board if you'd like to use the Roll20 board to run it if you're running things on VTT. But let's I was gonna go take a look. My Theros game. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that Theros game. I heard big mojo about that Theros game. Everybody was ranting and raving about it today. I talked to Stevie this morning. I talked to Wookie. Pretty cool. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. That's fine. Oh, cool. I got the vampire. The Crypt of the Vampire General adventure module from Jesse Brown today, and fucking, it's super good. So yeah, I'd love it if y'all want to play test that, or actually, I could be wrong, but I think we did play test that, didn't we, Austin? Because we played in that game with Jesse, and I'm pretty sure that was that the one that you were there? Can't remember. This, I think a little bit more. Here, little. Yeah. Mountain one and a lighthouse one. Yeah, I don't think either of those were. That's not. Those aren't the ones I was talking about. So yeah, you must not have been in that game. In fact, it makes perfect sense that you weren't, because I'm pretty sure everybody that was in that was like, it was me, Andrew, Leo, and Amelia. Uh, oh. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I have the quest PDF. God, wow, that looks like fucking garbanzo beans. Don't do that. Um, so I'll have to whip that out. Actually, I think you know what I really want in this stone here is some in oxides, bit of rust colors and browns. That'll mix well here, like this. If you want to read it, I can send it to you. I think it's still a draft format, so um, there will probably be edits coming. Like, right, yeah, more like a rock to me. There, you'll see crevasse. Juicy crevasse. That's not a good thing. Well, did you want to play test it again? Because I can hold off if you want to play it. Oh, Austin. I can tell that you want to play, and yes, I will run it for you. Don't bother reading it if you'd like me to run it for you. I think I should. In fact, I think. Oh god, that was the other thing I was supposed to fucking get done today, and I totally didn't. I was fucking off with this painting all day. We need to get that questionnaire done for the playtest sessions, the before and after questionnaire, so that we can start being very consistent about the play tests, the feedback loop. And then, yeah, I think I should run every module that we publish. I don't think it makes any sense for me not to, basically. Way down here, buddy, shitty shadows. Yeah, sit in the shitty corner, Black Shadow. Holy shit! It's actually kind of starting to look like an actual background with the person in front of it correctly. A couple of things that are extremely fucking wrong with it, like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I was just getting rid of something and I like just colored it with the background color. Cool, smooth move, X-Lex. Also, it looks like I got some dirty dupes over here. Over here, probably too, I think. I was doing the same thing over the painting. Let's do right. I kind of love what? You kind of love what? You kind of love the painting? You like how it's going with the background? This down here needs fucking tender love and bullshit. Staff is looking too slim. This color. One of my favorite pieces of this so far is actually right here. Like a little picking up out of the staff. You know how like wood just has like that kind of shit in it where it's like, yeah, there used to be a branch here. And like a homemade staff, kind of a DIY piece. This wizard. Chinese. Oh, this kind of really beautiful yellow color here that's not present on the what it would be. Nose holes. Also, this week, this coming week is Jesse Brown's birthday, which is super exciting. So, I think unless things change, you're gonna get to see him on his birthday. Get to go to an actual birthday party, which will be nice. Nice to get out of the house and go do something. Go see a friend, coworker, in a way, right? Like pretty sick. Every day we all get to see each other. Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I think what's bothering me about this piece is the balance, the color balance. I think if I just like auto tune it, auto tone it. Oh, that did that do anything? I don't think that fucking did anything. color? No, that looks worse. All right, we're gonna try adjusting the curves. Yeah, Justy Brown's in Vancouver. In fact, he came over not long ago. We painted minis. He's into mini painting. We had a good time. It was really fun. Okay, so we're bringing down. Okay, this brings down the light on the character, which I do like the idea that she's a bit darker, like getting farther from the light it gets darker. But I think I have another way of doing that I'm gonna use later. So we'll deal with that later. But for now, there should be, I think, something like. Wow, this is all fucking what I did. Deserve this being so wrong. Yeah, that's super wrong. Okay, never mind. I don't want to do that. Maybe let's just try the classic. Oh, what's vibrance? Let's talk about vibrance. What does that even mean? What are vibrance? Ooh, that's kind of nice. That's really yellow. I think there is a happy medium here. Feeling like that's an improvement. Does that feel like an improvement to you? I think it does. The purple's purpler, the pink is pinker, yellow's yellower. It's a little more. Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, we're gonna keep that, and then we'll try and apply the hack that I'm gonna try and apply, and we'll see how it goes. But just kind of imagine with me for a second. Just pretend that there's kind of two scenes. There's two light sources in this scene. There's the light in the back, this greenish light, and I want that to cast like a really thin backlight right against the character. And then this yellow light needs to kind of do the rest of the work on the front here. And I've got an idea for how we're going to pull that. We're going to start by doing a on a layer. I need a radial gradient. What we're going. A radial gradient is going to start at a warm light tone. This is going to go into a cool gray tone. That should be fine. We shall see. I'm going to try putting it out from that. Okay, so that's the theoretical limit of the light, right? And then basically what I do here is if I can figure out the right filter to apply, like how to apply this, might get. Actually, I think this is close to it, although this is far too bright. So probably what I'll do is I'll turn color dodge on, and then bring the transparency down. That's kind of. But still doesn't really feel quite right. Ooh, God, why does that feel righter? That feels right, right? That's kind of doing the thing that I want, where it's like it looks like the shadow, like she's shadowed in the front, and the yellow light is lighting her up in the front. I could even get away with doing a little bit darker. And one of the tricks that I wanted to do with this, or try doing with this, I don't know if this is actually going to work, is you can kind of delete, like, from the light layer, places that are not hit by the light. You can get a little bit of differentiation. Yeah, I think that's better. I think that looks better. Starting to get there. Starting to look better. I need to do some more delete erasing over here because super lazy, and I just keep piling more colors on, and Thinking about the fact that the background's not done yet. So. I really like this dragon-headed staff. I think it's probably might even be worth kind of taking this out of this image and just doing a painting of the staff, making a magic item card for it. That'd be kind of cool. Something I'd really like to start doing is making more like, you know, content that players can get excited about and bring to their DMs and be like, oh, look at this thing I found on the internet. Oh shit, what the fuck am I doing? Don't. Why did I do that? I was erasing the staff. Goddamn noob. Sorry. It's gonna be fine. We're fine. I did like what it did to the front of this thing. Tiny eyes. Tiny brows. Horn. Bit of tiny throat. This feels awkward. I like this needs more here. Maybe this actually just needs to... Wrong button. That maybe. Do some bulging on that side too. Seems legit. Bright yellow. Austin, you're too good to me. you work too hard. I love you, and your wife, and thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. You're amazing. Legitimately no idea what I'd be doing without you guys. Oh. You know what? If your procrastination gets me one less thing on my fucking list of shit to do, I'll take it. I don't... Divisible Man will be published when it is done. I already knew that. But thank you very much for that. We now have the questionnaire, or a questionnaire. Look at it and see if it's needs any revision or if it's just good out of the box, but make that choice now. Is it just the, did you just do a post-game questionnaire? Yeah, it's eye-catching. You know what it is? It is. It's really weird, like looking at it on this little screen here, or on the, so I'm looking at a tablet here, and it takes up most of the screen. And then I look up here and I've got it on my like on my OBS, and it's like way farther away, way smaller, and it's kind of how I do like my like. Does it read? Like if I squint at it, does it look right? Kind of how I do that. Works pretty well, I would say. Now the trickiest bit of this actually, I'm going to say, is this really elusive piece that I'm not 100% sure if I know how to do, but I'm sure as fuck gonna try. And the idea here is, maybe I should just do it this way. I'm going to. I take wrong tool, this tool. So I grab my lasso tool. Yeah. And wait. Right. And then do with it. Actually, no, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in this other layer, right, that's back here. Hide this. Now I've got like just like a gray or brown hand. Brown? Maybe it just looks brown. Really brown? Oh, it's because this. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Although, ultimately, I'm gonna put this on top just because like it's a shadow and it's kind of intentionally not supposed to be. But I'm gonna bring this back up. This is in front right now. Just the idea here is I'm gonna hide that. Transform. Scale this bad boy up. Scale it like this. Going to be the basis shadow of the hand in the background, right? So, like, does that fucking read? Is that too much? I don't know if that's too much. It might not be enough. I don't know. It's a little weird. But it also doesn't look terrible. Um, and then theoretically, I can filter this thing just a little bit. Do some blur. Blur window, or did it just blur it a little bit? Blur goes blur, Gaussian blur. Move my pixels for me. I love it personally. You're my target audience, so I'm gonna say that's good enough. Awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you for the encouragement and the. Whoa, what the fuck is going on? That's the color, right? Oh God. Okay, I get it. I get what's going on. Don't do that. Trixie. So, what's something that was happening back here actually also is because this is on, it's picking up the color with that on it. When what I'm really trying to do is paint this color, right? So I had this tone, changing tones on me. Do I still have a bunch of? Ew. Bunch of weird meat hanging off of the staff. We're good. We good. We good. Okay. Now I'm gonna take. So what I need is a color between this. Look at it again. This. We're looking at like here. Legit. We're on the right layer, so we don't have to worry about hitting this person. Um, Now we kind of have our second trunk. Oops. Hey, little trees. Damn right they're happy. They fucking better be. Branchy back there. Something branchy this way comes. All right, so a couple of things we have here that are sadly gapped in the, they do not have the detail that is needed. Obvious is probably this tree that needs a bit of splash of texture. Probably be enough. Not to overdo it. I've overdone it. Actually overdid it. And then this down here, I really want to. Who has died? What characters have died in our games? I know we had that drow who got killed and resurrected. Oh, Brass. Brass died. Let's memorialize Brass. Painting. Yeah. Let's fucking do it. Andrew will lose his shit. Absolutely lose his shit. I'm into it. I'm so into it. What else do you fucking play D&D for if it's not to make cool art of your friends' shit? That was not a good reason to play D&D. Play D&D because you like hanging out with your friends. You don't need a reason. Collections, campañas, riff brass. And it seems to me, lived your life like a candle in the wind. We miss you, Brass. You're my boy. My boy, Brass. You guys ever see fucking Old School with Will Ferrell? He's like, Blue, the old fucking guy who dies from partying with them. Well, dies because he's fucking old, really. TBH. What Pixels and Pagans was Brass in? Was he in 3 or 4? Or you know what? He might be in the original Pixels and Pagans. I think like we like went around the loop. Blue's a legend. Exactly, yeah. But like Blue, like there's my favorite scene in that whole movie is like when he has like a near death experience and he's like, I saw Blue. He was beautiful. Just that's everything to me. Andromeda, Dankard, Falnithus, Gregory, holy shit. Like Obed and Badger are in 1. They're in like the original Pixels and Pagans thing, but I know that they're not like from that campaign. Like they came in way later. Speaking of Badger and Rombo, should I be scheduling the next game in that line at some point? Probably. Don't want to play that? I think we need to. I think we actually need. I need to redo that Alhazred that you have, the drawing, now that I know how to paint. And Krug too. I think they're both still great paintings, but I could definitely do so much better now. Like, kind of excited too. Also, Hadley, if you ever want to pick up Fucking Rappanathic again. Guinevere's still undefeated. Okay, yeah, I just looked through everything and I do not have Brass's characters. So I'm gonna have to poke Andrew. I'm poking this motherfucker anyway. He's awesome. Hey, here is Brass character sheet. Maybe the Dungeon of Graves make her resurgence. Brass Workhorn, is that his name? I thought Brass was like people called him Brass because of his Workhorn. Yeah, I think Workhorn's right. What is their name? Yeah, so I've got a nice gray going here. Guess what we could do, I could go like find the runes that match his like monogram. His what the fuck do you call it? Initials. BW. Ooh, these look like cool. Can use this. That's no. What's Cruish? Cruish looks cool. They actually have a letter that is BW. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna draw them here on the. Oops, I'm just gonna draw it here on the. We can. The BW looks like this. And then the B looks like this. W. Well, I definitely like this one better than these two together. I think that kind of settled that question. Of course, those are Cruish runes, which I've never heard of. I have no idea what that is. That might be like a Conlang. So I'm gonna try one more thing. I've always been interested. We know that the Norse had runes, but like, what were the French using? Did they have their own runes? Or their own? Like Proto-Germanic runes? All runes? No. Is it? Okay, yeah, I guess. Celtic is more like, when I think Celtic, I'm like, okay, well, that's like Scotland, Ireland, parts of England, I guess a little bit of France. Um, but even the Celts didn't really have, as far as I know, let me look. Yeah, it looks like Celts just used basically some variation of Norse. Um, the Picts, on the other hand, had their own rune, their own runes, I think, different. They're also rather beautiful. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm streaming, but I'm mostly just hanging out with Austin, Chelsea, Gabe. Austin, Chelsea, and Gabe. What's up? Okay, yeah, I'm a big girl. I know when I can go to bed. All right. Thanks for checking in, Mom. So I'm gonna try drawing this one. E is like that. W. That. I don't hate it. Not in love with it. Definitely don't hate it. And then classic. Um, Norse runes would be. Well, yeah, B is again kind of a no-brainer. Arcana. And then let's see, I think it's Dewas or Wunjo. Wunjo. So this would be Wunjo. It's basically BP, and I do not advertise for British Petroleum. So we're gonna try grabbing this. And actually, I don't even know if I. Oh god, wrong thing. Bring it down here. Hit it. Retransform. Rotate it a little bit. Put it over. Do a little bit of shrinkage. Oop. It's so cute. Talk a bit. Have a good one. Oh, okay. Cool. I love you all. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out. And yeah, I really look forward to the y'all getting to work together more. It's going to be really fun. Oops. Doesn't really matter where it is. Layer. Really not fun. You got any plans on this Monday night, Gabe Hadley? Food, pecking at writing. Actually sounds like a pretty nice Pretty nice way to spend a Monday night, not gonna lie. Take it. Back in front, and then so next I'm going to try and do that thing that I did in my last painting. Just going to kind of see how it goes. I have no idea if this is going to work. Out, do it on a new layer. I think we're going to go into the blues for it. Any other layer, any other color, and the line I wrote for the Savannah thing. Like, let me grab it. Oh yeah, what I like to hear. The thing I wrote that I like. True, I like your things that you write. It's true. Hey, bitch. Deal with it. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. A gnarled collection of sun-bleached branches that dared in ages past to call itself a bush, loses its battle with the unyielding sun and catches fire. That is great. Nice. Yeah, the mist was good, right? That was kind of it was always the intention to add some mist towards the bottom, just to kind of tie the piece together. Is what the cool kids say when they're doing the art thing. I love that rug, man. It really tied the room together. I think this. Some of my juicy, snacky edges. Really like. I never finished that. I need to finish the belt. Who pees on a dude's rug, man? I'm asking myself for sure. Profit. Message. Game. Game. Really? Okay, well, I don't really want to play Hearthstone right now. I'm busy drawing. No. No, I do not want to play Hearthstone right now. I am busy making a heckin' art. Flippin'? Oh, am I on the wrong layer? Ah, I'm on the wrong color. Okay. All of the above. Alright. Last piece I wanted to do actually yeah. Oops. Too much, I took too much. Just this little hash of it down the back of this. Here, push, back side of the hand. That thing. The rest of that reads fine, it doesn't really need it. Maybe just a little. Who pees on a dude's rug indeed? What do you think? If this was at the top of a blog post, would you go, wow, that's kind of neat. That's kind of a neat painting for that blog post. Or would you say, no, this painting is not yet finished. Needs at least 17 more hours of human sweat to become ripe. Because honestly, it could go either way. Oh, okay. There's definitely like a couple of things I need to do. I best not fuck around. Get them. First, and most critically, finish this belt buckle that I started. Bring this down here, right over the black with a gray. You know who pees on a man's rug? Nihilist. I fucking identify with that shit. Oh yeah, it's colorful and mysterious. It even has dramatic lighting. Alright, cool. Got it all. Watch our DM. We've got it all. Color, mood, dramatic lighting. Again. Versus. Cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, I will probably then just finish up this belt. It needs to be finished. Well, there's a couple of things. I've got to work out a couple of color transitions here that I haven't really did properly yet. Blend those. Can you tell I was listening to Simon and Garfunkel all day? Because I was. I don't care who knows it. Oops. Alright, that's fine. Right here. Bit. It's the wrong way. The wrong way. I did the belt the wrong way. Which is just some shit that happens sometimes. Leave it. And bring this to color. It needs to be over here. Yeah. This goes here. Yeah. Belt's going this way. This goes. Cool. And you know it would be actually be super cool to like do like a full on how they actually used to do the belt through itself through the buckle. You know what I'm talking about. On all the crests and shit. Usually is this. Tail. Oh. Come on. Yep. That adds visual interest. It's not so complicated that it's unbelievable and fine. This is fine. A fine piece of artwork. We're going to do 2 last things to it, and then we're going to call it. First 2 things that I'm going to do to it are going to put a reference to light in the gem. Need to have just a little yellow section down here, red section up. Yeah, that looks like a more believable gem. It's good. Another thing we're going to do. The Siren Song of Sleep Meds is calling. Awesome. I think I like the sound of that. I'm going to head off too, but yeah, I wanted to put that little gemstone in there first. Which now makes the rest of the fucking staff look like it needs about a bajillion more years of work. If I can punch it up relatively quickly. Thank you so much for hanging out, my dude. Have a good night. Great work today. I like the blog post. I can't wait to push it out. It's why I'm still working on this image. What's wrong with this? It's too saturated. So afraid of I think